The fear of stopping. Have you ever felt like you just can't stop and you're exhausted, you're running out of energy in all directions, and there's something in you that just doesn't allow you to stop? So, this is what we're going to speak about today. I'm Prajna O'Hara, and this is my channel. Please subscribe, like, share, comment, and it gives me ideas on what to speak about. But let me first unpack this a little bit, the fear of stopping and how this came to me. As most of you know, I'm a therapist and I do body centered psychotherapy, the Hakomi method, along with many other things. And often what happens is people come to me many times, especially more so lately, and are exhausted. And I can really relate to this feeling of being spent, exhausted, and the need to just give yourself permission to collapse, to relax. And why is it that sometimes we're not able to do that? So you could say that the fear of not stopping, even the word fear is an energy. And often the energetic sensation of fear is is a trauma response, to fight, flight, flee, so that we're not really settling in our nervous system. We're not receiving nourishment. We're not settling so that a resting can happen and we can be resourced and revitalized and refreshed. So I had this experience the other night where I was just like flat out, on my bed. And I had a friend come over and we did some things. And I just really saw that I wasn't giving myself permission to rest, which is often the case with clients. So I have to practice what I preach. Yeah. And so I let myself really collapse. And many of us kind of are going around with chronic fatigue or with really exhausted adrenaline fatigue. So what happened for me though is I just collapsed. And there's an expression that I've come up with, probably didn't just me come up with it, but collapse before you collapse. And this often happens with people who are in the caretaking profession or parents, or just like I said before, as a trauma response and the system just not being able to slow down. So I really collapsed. And what happened in that is kind of like the shedding of layers of what I saw that it was were layers of perception. Like usually when we're pushing or we're taking on too much, there's something running in the system that is saying you need to do more. It's not okay to rest. You need to prove yourself. Sometimes it's unconscious and sometimes it becomes very conscious. So what I saw is just kind of like a lens of perception. And once that lens is cleaned, and shed, you just let the layer shed and shed and shed of whatever has been introjected into the system, either through trauma or through patriarchal conditioning, family conditioning, work conditioning, all of the things of the American dream conditioning, so that those introjections can not like be pushed away, but be befriended, because then we start to see that these voices or these mechanisms have felt that like they've been helping us, protecting us from something. Because there's a concern like, all right, if I stop, such and such is going to happen. And the more that we slow down, we can start to see like, what is the such and such? What is the concern that this protector, this voice, this energy, this part of who we are thinks that it's shielding us from? So we become familiar with that and we see like that part as an ally, not as something negative. Like every part of you has value, intrinsic value, and often is an ally. And it's something that we can come into a close, intimate relationship with to understand how we're wired, how we've been programmed, how we've absorbed different introjections. So I want to give you 3 things, maybe it's 4, for how you can address kind of this energy, this fear of stopping, of pausing, of slowing down, because that is what meditation is, right? It's stopping, it's pausing, it's allowing yourself to really rest deeply. And this is something that we also have to give to ourselves every night, as we're going into sleep for the night. We don't want to carry heavy, excuse me, I've had something in my throat this whole time. We don't want to carry heaviness into the sleep with us, because we want to let the body really go into a deep, deep rest. Let the mind rest. Let the psychology rest. Let the dreams come so that our unconscious mind can continue to process whatever it's processing from the day or from the life. So sleep is super important. So this is what I want to ask you that has come to me, and it really helps to sort out what we might be running from, or instead of running from something, what can we run toward? And that inquiry is, what is mine to do? Such a good question. And sometimes, it relates to soul purpose in a sense. Like, what is my purpose here? Like, what is the yearning of my soul, the longing of my spirit? What is mine to do here in this life? What is the most important thing? So I think when we ask this question and reflect upon it, this idea of too much, like there's too much to do, we get to see if we've taken on more than we need to. This is what the sorting process, like, what is mine to do? Like, am I staying in my own lane? Am I attending to actually just what's in front of me, like what is truly mine to do? Am I crossing over into somebody else's lane, whether that be physically or psychologically, to manage something for somebody else, which isn't mine to do? Look, if you're a parent, sometimes you need to do that with your children, obviously. There's things that you need to take care of. But in the workplace and in other kinds of relationships, it's important that we stay in our lane, and we're not disabling by enabling, doing something for someone. We need to wean off with how much we assist. Otherwise, we're not really giving the person an opportunity to develop their own skills and to learn on their own, make mistakes, fall down, get up, learn. So that's important, and that can be very exhausting if you're, I really relate to this. Like, if you're not really feeling the confidence in this other person or group of people so that you're doing more than you really need to be doing, and they're not learning what they can do, and they're not getting the opportunity to develop the confidence. So it's kind of like a micromanaging, and that can be exhausting. So you can pull back there. You can come into your own lane. You can see, am I micromanaging out here? And, and then what can you just set down completely? Just give it away to mama, to the earth, drop it, because there isn't anything that's really satisfying in it for you. It doesn't really bring you meaning or nourishment. There's something that one of my clients said today. I hope I remember it. It just doesn't feed the life with nourishment. These were her words as she was sorting through and unpacking. So we want to engage ourselves with things that are really feeding us and nourishing us. So if it isn't, and there isn't really, like, you have an option to set it down or not, set it down if it isn't giving you nourishment. And if you feel like it's something that you're obligated to be doing, then you can also consider questioning that. Is that true? Yeah. And how might either something else can happen here as well? Is there somebody that I can pass this on for someone else to take care of, because it might bring them nourishment? It might be satisfying for them. They might have the skill set. They might really enjoy that. and reap benefit from it? Or is it something that I can reach out and ask someone to help me with it? That it is too much, but it's something I need to be doing. But how can I reach out and say, I need help with this? So I kind of reframe this whole idea of the fear of stopping. And this, we could unpack this for a long time, but all the different layers that can play into that. Because is it fear of stopping, or is it a trauma response? Or is it these other things that we spoke about? Am I not staying in my lane? Am I micromanaging things out here that I don't need to be doing? Is it something that I can just set down because it's not mine to do anyway? Or is it something I need to give to somebody else because they'd be better at it and might enjoy doing it? Or is it something I can reach out and ask for help? So we can sort through, and then there's a unloading, a lightness that happens. And the whole time while we're doing this exploration, it's really important to sense and feel and breathe into your body and notice what happens when you're kind of doing this sorting, like, what does that feel like to reach out and, admit, to be honest that, yeah, this is a bit too much right now. I need help with this. And who can I ask for help? Where can I go for help? How can I resource myself? Oh, and how does that feel, even just to have that level of honesty? Feels good. I mean, when I was really tired, I was realizing that I've actually needed help for a really long time. And for many years, kept myself very busy. And in some of the things I really absolutely needed to be doing. But other things were helping me to fill up time and space so that I didn't have to feel certain things in my own personal, deep, intimate life that was calling for attention to heal and recover and rest. So, I'd go in and out of that, but I'm really aware of it. And there's many of us that do this, and we don't come to a place of real resting and rooting and taking up space. But we can stop. We can stop. And a little bit at a time. You don't have to do it all at once. Yeah, you can let yourself reach out for help. You can let yourself reach in for rest. You can let yourself give something to another person because they might be better at it. You can resist the urge to micromanage the people around you. And then we start to like, already, doesn't that feel great? I don't feel like there's too much to do. And then there's a clarity. And then what you get to do, it's like, instead of have to do, it's like, I get to do. And you can come to it with a freshness, with a enthusiasm, perhaps even more clarity and more creativity. Well, that's probably enough for now. But if you like this, please subscribe, like, share. But I want to say one of my topics coming up, I wrote this down. This will get too long if I go into it today, but I'm excited about it. And it's related to this. And this is, I want to talk about recreation. Like the word recreation, like how can we have fun with that and look at that as an opportunity to recreate ourselves. And when we're afraid to stop, we're not recreating, are we? We're not recreating ourselves. So that is for another time. We'll have fun with that. So thank you for listening, and you have a wonderful day. Ciao for now.